Think of Bitcoins like a time capsule. Every Satoshi you own could unlock an incredible future. Selling now is like cracking open that capsule way too soon. What if I told you that in just a few years you might regret selling the very assets that could redefine wealth for generations to come? Stick around because I'm going to share with you exactly why holding your Bitcoins might be the most important decisions you ever made. Let's start with something crucial: scarcity. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. And with the next halving coming up in 2028, fewer and fewer coins will be mined each day. This scarcity is a feature, not a bug. It's what separates Bitcoin from fiat currency, which governments can print endlessly, devaluating it over time. Selling your Bitcoins now would be like selling your gold in the middle of a gold rush. Why part with something so precious when it's about to become even scarcer? Here's the wild part. Even with all the hype around Bitcoin, we're still in the early stages. Right now, less than 1% of the global population owns any Bitcoins at all. Imagine where this goes when the numbers hit 5%, 10%, or even 80%. We're talking about trillions of dollars pouring into Bitcoins as more people's businesses and even governments realize its potential. Countries like El Salvador have already embraced Bitcoins as legal tender, and institutions like BlackRock and MicroStrategies are accumulating massive amounts. If they're getting in, it's probably not the time for you to getting out. Speaking of institutions, let's talk about them for a minute. Why are big players like BlackRock, Fidelities, and even governments buying Bitcoins? Because they know something the average retail investors often overlooks: the long game. When institutions starts to accumulate, it means they see massive upside potential. They are not flipping coins for quick profits. They're looking at the next 10 years, 20 years, even 50 years. Think about it. Selling your Bitcoin now might mean handing over your financial futures to these institutions. They're playing chess while a lot of people are still playing checkers. So, when they're buying, why would you be selling? And if you do sell, don't forget about taxes. When you sell Bitcoins at a profit, you'll likely owe capital gains tax. And depending on how long you held it, you could be taxed at a higher rate. It's not just about selling at the right times, but what you have left after Uncle Sam's take his cut. Selling now could mean losing out on huge chunks of your profits to taxes. Instead, if you need cash but don't want to sell your Bitcoin, consider borrowing against it through a crypto loan. You keep your Bitcoins, avoid taxes, and still get access to liquidity. It's a win-win. Now let's address one of the biggest myths out there, that Bitcoin is bad for the environment. Bitcoin mining is evolving and more miners are tapping into renewable energy sources like wind, solar, hydro, and even volcanic powers in El Salvador. Far from being an environmental disaster, Bitcoin mining is actually driving innovations in renewable energy. In fact, by using excess energies from these renewable sources, Bitcoin's mining is helping stabilize energy grids in places like Texas and Canada. So when people say Bitcoin is bad for the environment, they're missing the bigger picture. Bitcoin is part of the solution. Now, here's another reason why selling is off the tables for me: fiat currency. Around the world, central banks are printing more money than ever, leading to inflations and devaluations of currency. Look at the countries like Venezuela, where hyperinflation has destroyed the local currency. What has been the savers for many people there? Bitcoin. By holding Bitcoin, you're holding an asset that cannot be inflated away. It's deflationary by design, meaning its purchasing powers is only going to increase over time, especially when fiat currencies continues to lose value. Why would I sell my hedge against a broken financial system? I know, guys, it's easy to get caught up in the FOMO of selling when Bitcoin spikes. But emotional selling is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Think back to when people sold Bitcoins at $10,000, thinking it couldn't go any higher. Fast forward, and those same people probably regret it as Bitcoins has surged past $60,000. I'm not here to chase the quick highs. I'm here for the long-term game, guys. Panic selling only helps the whales who are more than happy to scoop up your Bitcoins at a discount. Let me tell you a quick story. I know people who sold Bitcoin way too early, thinking they were making a smart move. One guy sold all his Bitcoins at $1,000, thinking he made a killing. Today, he kicked himself every day because those coins would now be worth over 60 times that amount. This is a common story, and trust me, you don't want to be that person. Selling too early might feel like a win in the moment, but in the long run, it's a losing strategy. The future of Bitcoin as a store of value is undeniable. Bitcoin is more than just a digital gold. It's better than gold. You can store millions in Bitcoins on a single device, cross borders without any restrictions, and hold wealth that's untouchable by governments or banks. As more countries face currency crisis, we're going to see Bitcoins becomes the go-to store of value. Picture a world where peoples in every country hold Bitcoin as their savings. The demands will skyrocket, and so will its price. Do you want to sell your piece of that futures? I don't. A quick friendly reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before making any decisions. So there you have it. Selling now means giving up one of the future's potentials of Bitcoin's its scarcity, its role as a hedge against inflations, and its increasing adoptions by institutions and individuals alike. Bitcoin is a time capsule, and every Satoshi is a ticket to the future. The question is, are you willing to cash it in too early? If this resonated with you, make sure to hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, and let's keep the conversation going. Because the Bitcoin's journey is just began, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. All right, guys, last word. Hold it tight and stack it right. Take care.